Real talk with verified wellness providers. The Wellness Connection.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to your Arkansas Wellness Connections, where you get to meet your Arkansas wellness providers. I'm Gina Allgaier, and I'm here with Dr. Yu today. Hi, Dr. Yu.
Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Dr. Yu. I'm a integrative health medicine pediatrician. Welcome.
Yeah, and you're out of Little Rock, correct?
Yes, I'm in Little Rock. I have a clinic at Arkansas Children's Hospital.
Okay, excellent. And I'm a whole health coach and well-being instructor here in Northwest Arkansas. And today we're so happy to be with Chanel Owens, and she is a wellness travel agent. And I love to travel, so I'm just so excited to have you here. Hi, Chanel. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, 'tis the season for travel. We're just a week or 2 weeks or so out from spring break. So great time to be talking with you about travel. So introduce yourself to us. Tell us about you.
Okay, well, my name is Chanel Owens. I am the owner of Travel by Chanel Owens. I am a positive impact travel agency. So, my goal when you travel with me is to help you have a positive impact on the places you're visiting, but also in our community. And I do that through a variety of ways, from making sure that those I work alongside, other vendors, are having some sort of positive impact on your visit. You can save the turtles and drink a martini all at the same time. It's magic. I
Yeah.
promise. And then I also am dedicated to helping not for profit. So every month I pick a not for profit and give 10% of my
Mm.
travel planning fees to a non for profit. And that's my goal of my company, is to travel while doing good all at the same time.
That's amazing. That
It's really
really truly is amazing. I actually run a nonprofit and just I know from, being in that space, the nonprofits, those people who run them work hard, but the people who they serve, there's just so much need out there. So that's amazing that you do that.
that's
Yeah,
really cool. I mean, I've never heard of that. So it's a very unique space that you're doing. Do you
yeah.
actually travel with your clients, or do you arrange to travel for them?
So I do not travel with my clients.
Uh-huh.
I would love to. Let me say that. Some of the places my folks go, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't. I help arrange every part and piece in a manner that helps them meet the world where they are. Every
Uh,
individual is different, and they have a variety of needs, whether it's accessibility or perhaps they need something very specific to the way it's laid out. I am an autism certified travel professional, and I try and plan that for them in a way that is about a relationship and about them and the way they are gonna experience the world.
Yeah. So
that's
really
cool.
helping make their trip more enjoyable, but also travel with ease with
Yes.
whatever
Yeah.
specific needs
And
they have.
realism. I'm a loving realist. I do not believe in a thing called stress-free travel. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that there's not an opportunity there, and that doesn't mean we can't stack the deck in our favor.
Mm, yeah, excellent. Well, I was going back to the January ebook that we have, the digital magazine, and I was reading your article about travel and wellness. And so, can you tell us a little bit about that component of it and your philosophy on it?
You bet. So travel is so unique because it touches every dimension of wellness simultaneously. So when you think about the
Mhm.
dimensions of wellness, you've got the obvious ones like physical. You're moving, you're going places, all those things. Emotional, it tends to release things like joy and provide opportunity to grow emotionally, because even a travel delay is development, even though we don't like it.
Right.
Intellectually, you're learning, you're going somewhere new, perhaps a new language, a new food. You can grow socially as far as wellness goes when you bond with the people you're traveling with, or even meet a stranger that you now have this new form bond with, even if it's temporary. Spiritually, you have an opportunity to really appreciate nature and meaningful experience, which kind of leads into that environmental component as well.
Mhm.
And then occupational is really about finding that balance between, work and rest, work and joy. And financial, actually, it really helps you with things like goal setting and perspective. When you are getting ready to try and go somewhere, or you're trying to figure out how to go somewhere, you have to do some aspect of financial work. And
Mhm.
again, opportunity for development there. And then, of course, there's the cultural stuff, getting to understand a perspective that is completely different than yours. Believe it or not, even if you're not traveling far, I'm from the West Coast and I now live in Arkansas, and I have changed as a person and grown and learn new things from coming to a new part of the same country. So it doesn't even have to be that far to really hit all those dimensions.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love that. I think one of the quotes in that magazine article was you said, travel's not a reward, it's a requirement. And just a moment ago, you hit on that piece about just how important it is for us to travel to create that work-life balance. So, yeah, it's that sense of renewal, rejuvenation, is that really part of what you hear from clients?
It is because whether you want to or not, travel is going to provide you something new, a new
Mhm.
perspective, a
Yeah.
new opportunity, even in its smallest form. It just happens naturally. So I think by the end of it, you can step back from that situation and know that you have grown in some way and you can now be rejuvenated, even if it's in the smallest aspect.
I've heard so right before Gina, right before our interview, I've talked to Chanel, and looks now she's working in healthcare as well. So how did you move from working in the traditional healthcare environment to this wellness? What was your journey?
So I started working in the travel industry when I was 18. I worked for
Ah,
American Airlines. I was fortunate enough to get to have 2 and 3 jobs at a time my whole life. So I worked for airlines, hotels, rental cars, and because I just had this innate curiosity about the world and I hadn't seen a lot of it. So then
Mm.
it was go to college, get a real job. And so I did. I became a registered nurse, and I have been a nurse for 13 years. I still do actively practice, because I do enjoy what I do as a nurse, and, that's kinda how my brainchild came about is how can I meet my love of helping others see this amazing place we call home, the world, but
Mhm.
also serve them and serve my community, and that's how my company was born, is trying to put these things together. I have a great understanding of how to organize information, assess, and all these things that come naturally when you work in healthcare, but I'm applying them in this setting and
Mhm.
being very intentional with that, and that I can individualize things based on a person's needs, whatever those may be. So that's how I'm doing that. But I also don't believe in limitations in the sense that you can meet the world where you are. Just because you have something that might be specific or maybe require an alternative kind of experience doesn't mean you can't have that experience. And I'd like to give that to people in any way I can.
So whether somebody's traveling with, I don't know, a wheelchair,
Mhm.
say, or food sensitivities or any other kind of
Feeding tubes.
okay,
I'm an autism certified travel professional, which means I work with neurodivergent adults and children. So
right.
perhaps I have a neurodivergent adult that needs to have information presented in a way that decreases their anxiety to a manageable level to allow them to move forward
Mhm.
with something. So they can be, there's a variety of needs there that I think need to be met, and there's opportunity everywhere.
Travel with compassion, it sounds like.
Yeah, we'll
yeah,
say absolutely.
that's really wonderful. So the clients work with you, and work with your services so that then you can arrange transportation, lodging, board, or experiences at the destination. So
Yes,
say,
and
hey, I
I.
want to have a yoga retreat in Mexico,
Mhm.
but I have an elderly, you know, a grandmother coming in with me, and so you're helping your clients find the hotel,
Mhm.
find the transportation from the airport and back, and something like that.
But also even a little bit more.
Uh,
So, when I help others travel, those basic standard components you need, like the how you're going to get there, where you're going to stay,
mhm.
maybe some sites you want to see, all those things are there. But I go a little further as well, as also provide custom information based on what the individual's needs are as far as accessibility and how they can experience really interesting cultural things. Like, for example, a lot of people go to Europe, but they may not know where that family owned restaurant is. That I can help support that community locally and trying to keep those cultural experiences alive.
Oh.
So I provide that information as well. So it's not just that I give you hotel and all these things.
Mm.
Luckily, as a travel agent, while I haven't been everywhere, it's on my list. I have contacts on every continent that I can call and say, hey, this is what I have. This is what my individual person really needs, whether it's an accessibility question or an interest or whatever that may be. And I help them find that. So that
Mm.
comes in like if you want to know where the wine windows are in Florence, I can help you find those and get you walking information from your hotel. And I have an
That is
app
so
for you
cool.
where you have everything at your fingertips so that you don't have to stress about not having what you need
Yeah,
right there
yeah.
in front of you.
So if I'm the client and we've worked together and I say I wanted to go to France because I wanted to go to this particular part, um, and I get a booklet or a travel guide or some kind of information so that'll get me through the phase. Yeah.
I say, well, I mean, yes, you get an app
Uh,
that
yeah.
provides you, and it works on and off the internet, that provides you a detailed list of everything that you have booked, like your hotel, your flights, all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, all of the documents you need, details about your where, when, and how you're doing tours, and then also information about the area and any specific parts that you wanted to experience. Like, for example, there is a special place you can go to in Rome. It's called the Keyhole, and it has one of the best views in the city. But it's just this obscure little thing that if I have somebody that's looking for a tranquil space that maybe isn't as crowded as the Trevi Fountain, I can direct them there. So if I
That's
have
cool.
someone who really wants to connect with nature, but we're going to Las Vegas, I actually just did this. Sent him off to the Valley of Fire,
Oh,
rented a car, and we got out of because Las Vegas is very
right.
overstimulating for some. It's amazing and it's hustle and bustle, but sometimes adding something in there that helps that other part of who we are or what we need.
Oof.
That's an easy thing to do. But a lot of people don't think about that. So I
Yeah.
try and take what the needs are, what they're telling me they can, will, or want to do,
Mhm.
and building that into something that
Yeah.
becomes tangible.
This really reminds me of, and it's also, I mean, this is happening because of who you are. Before you became a nurse, you had all of these experiences and you did not throw those things away. You've added them as you grew as a person and became who you are. And that experience is uniquely yours.
Mm.
Yes,
And
I'm
it's
very
fascinating. Yeah.
glad for my journey. Every bump and cobblestone of it, I think builds us who we are, and this is kind of the culmination of you said of my various experiences that I'm
Mhm.
trying to, just use my superpowers for good.
Living deeply connected to your purpose, it seems like.
Yeah, and it's created some interesting opportunities for me on a personal level. I am a mom of two children, 8 and 11, and my kids get to experience this with me I'm very intentional about not being the parent that's going to win you the attendance award. Not going to do it. We're going to be absent.
Right.
Education is super important, but it happens in a lot of ways. So, no matter how we travel, I try to make sure my kids go somewhere new where they don't speak the same language as them. They don't eat the same food as them. And even if they do, there's some part or piece we can experience that they won't experience here. And the experience of traveling itself from delays, frustrations, situations that we have no control over. These are opportunities for us to learn and grow as a person and as a mom. As much as I don't want to be delayed with my children and sit in an airport for 10 hours, nobody likes that. It's still an opportunity for them to develop as people and learn how to manage situations that they will encounter their whole life. While they may not be in an airport, you will have something that causes a delay that you don't want. And you
Mhm.
have to manage those big feelings and all that stuff. So, my journey has helped me form this professional journey, but it's helped me form my personal journey as a parent as well.
Mhm. Yeah, like you said, creating those new neural pathways,
Mhm.
really, I liken it to the phrase shaking the sleeping self.
Mhm.
I work in the addiction and recovery community, and so we're always trying to get individuals as part of their recovery journeys to create those new neuro pathways. And part of that is getting outside of your comfort zone, doing something different, having those different experiences. So it sounds like you're able to provide those opportunities for people.
Absolutely, and it's life is lives outside your comfort zone. I'm pretty sure that was a brand name somewhere.
Right.
But I do truly believe that, and I think that travel provides an opportunity unlike anything else. Um, so I think it's something always worth doing, and you're always gonna get something out of it. You're never gonna be sad you went.
Right. Yeah. At the end of it all, right? It's the memories that we make, and travel's such a great way to do that. Let's get back. I love the part that you said about the travel for good and being able to positively impact the communities. I did a 3-week trip in South Africa a few years ago, and we were really able to immerse ourselves into the community
Awesome.
and go to those local coffee shops and those local restaurants. And so, tell us a little bit more about the impact that your experience for your clients is able to make.
So there are a lot of ways to positively impact the world while we're traveling. Of course, the most obvious is going to be economically because you are spending money in another
Mhm.
community. But also, there's a lot of programs people don't know about. Even with the big guys, like Caribbean has the Save the Seas program. If you don't need a new towel every day, if you hang yours back up, the steward won't change them, and you're
Right.
contributing towards their sustainability actions.
Right.
So, there's also the stuff that is, living local, going to local coffee shops, going
Mhm.
to that family owned restaurant. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean they're not necessarily in tourist areas. Some of them are, but you need
Mm.
to know what they are or an experience nearby that maybe you would have otherwise missed.
Mhm.
Like, for example, the wine windows in Florence. That is a classic Florence tradition. That is something that is not necessarily only in that city, but is something that has been in that culture for a long time. And it's something to be celebrated. I don't like traveling during busy periods, but I do love to travel during unique things. Like, for example, you have the Jazz Festival in Montreal. You have the
Mhm.
Tulip Festival in Victoria, Canada. You have
Mhm.
Sienna's horse races. Traveling during times where there are local celebrations, carnival, all that stuff. I love to impact communities by keeping those alive, by
Mhm.
having people visit during those times when they may not, they may fade away without a visitor. So those are
Mhm.
one of the many ways that I think that travel positively impacts communities that you're visiting. And, like I said, on my end, I choose because it brings me absolute joy to work with not for profits locally because I'm all about sending you out to see the world, but it doesn't mean I don't love home. So I had to figure out how to meet that need. I'm like, well, I don't want them to think I'm only helping outside Arkansas, and I don't want to just help outside Arkansas. So how could I do this? And that's where my 10% to a not for profit every month goes. It actually started during the federal shutdown last year.
Oh.
So during the shutdown, a group in Little Rock had started saying, "Hey, if you can donate $10 to the food bank." And I'm like, I can
Mm.
do that. I'm like, and then I did it and I decided to do it for the whole month that, hey, I am donating to the Arkansas Food Bank. Everybody who books me 10% of your travel planning fee goes here because I want to support people who need something to eat during this time.
Right.
And then I was like, I love this. I'm just going to keep doing it. So I have partnered with not for profits ever since, every month, to try and expand the good in that way.
Well, I love that. Love it, love it. And, both from a nonprofit standpoint, but also just the tourism piece. Here in Arkansas, our tourism department has really, I think, done an incredible job over the
Yes.
last,
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know,
flourishing. Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
5 to 10 years or so. Um, I don't know the numbers off my top of my head. I do know our numbers have skyrocketed on
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
tourism piece of it, especially up here in Northwest Arkansas,
Yeah.
where we have all the mountain biking, et cetera, but it's also grown all around the state and bringing people more in. But that really helps states like ours that where there's not a whole lot of industry here.
Mhm.
And so helping, like you said, those small businesses, the nonprofits, the activities that happen here. So I just love that, you use that, leverage that as part of your program. It's
Yeah, I
excellent.
think it's like a win-win-win. One thing that also resonated with me is that you know of local traditions, local festivals, and it's purposeful that you arrange your visit there versus like, okay, well, let's go to Italy in August, and then from there, it's just happenstance that you get to see, you know the local festivals, and here you're trying to be very intentional about like going there because of that, which is really cool.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
that those particular times,
yeah,
again, you get to experience something even more special. Like if you're going
yeah,
to Mexico to see La Posadas or something during Christmas, or
Mhm.
something like that is a very unique opportunity and just kind of layers on all of that you get out of the experience.
yeah, because it's where you get to see the culture in
Mhm.
just its most, I would say, colorful
Yeah.
phase, which is really cool. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and then, try to find different again, based on their experiences or their interests. I'm all
Yeah.
about going to see local music if you can.
Hmm.
Like, for
Oh,
example, a lot of people don't know that Temple Bar in Ireland has music every single night, and if you wanna go to Temple Bar
Hmm.
and go give it a shot. Yes, it is a touristy bar, 100%, but you will still get to have that experience, and that's somewhere that we know has music every night, but there's tons of other ones too that are a little bit more locally based.
Yeah. How do you
So
find those
yeah.
places for yourself? I mean, is that like more of a personal interest, or you're trying to
Uh-huh.
diversify your travel so that then you could, connect with the local, have your network, wherever you go?
So I am all about asking clients when they travel what they did, where they went, what
Mm,
they loved, because it keeps things very current. I do use my contacts through tourism boards and all that kind of stuff as well. But I also just have a personal love of just really obscure things. So I'll hear
Mm,
about something, verify that it's like a real thing
yeah.
through research, and just, if it's something really neat, I'll recommend it out. Like, uh, I found out Montreal has a comedy festival. What? I'm like, that sounds amazing. I want to go laugh for a whole weekend. And I mean, it's an international comedy festival. Who thinks of that?
yeah.
Jazz fest, yeah, but how
Yeah.
fun is that? I'm like, that sounds
Yeah.
amazing. So, as I find things, because travel is my love and my interest, I tend to share them with my clients as well. I love, luckily, other places I work around town have a very diverse population. One of my favorite things about it. And I can, pick some brains on people from all over the world. Be like, hey, I know that you mentioned you either from here or have family here. What do they recommend for this?
Yeah.
Just speaking to other humans about what they know and passing on that knowledge is a great way to find out the good stuff.
Yes, and I would imagine it takes a good bit of research because things do change. So,
Yes.
yeah, making sure,
Trying to
like you said, it's still relevant, it's still
It's still
happening.
relevant. I was like, it that is very challenging, especially with just the variability, businesses opening and closing, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Trying to make sure things are current and trying to stay up on my research is one of the biggest things. And it's definitely a very consuming portion of this, but it's such a necessary portion to build these into not just being plain Jane things.
So what's the most unique trip that you've ever put together?
Oh, well, that's tough because I have a couple.
I bet you do.
Yeah,
I do.
what's the
Well,
yeah.
one that just got back that was a fun one is I had a client contact me and they said, I have always wanted to see the Northern Lights.
Okay.
Okay. And I said, okay. I'm like, we can do that. And there's several places to do it, several ways to do it. So I ended up finding outside in Finland, outside of Valo, a beautiful resort that keeps those traditional spa kind of traditions from that area alive. So the saunas and the spas are really a big thing over there,
Okay.
and something that is a long held tradition. But they also had this amazing opportunity to work with locals who had like caribou farms and
Oh,
dog Dog sledding is a huge thing there, so you would actually get to go out and actually meet with local people who live there. They were near a town that keeps a lot of traditional culinary things alive, like the uses of lichen and berries and all this cool stuff, and just a lot of really neat things at
Oh,
this particular place. So I ended up planning a trip for them there where they got to experience something, amazing. They got to, see the aurora borealis while they were being driven in a caribou sleigh. Like that's amazing. But they
that
also
sounds
had some
wonderful.
of the weirdest food they've ever eaten because
That is so cool.
Very cool.
so that one was one of the more recent ones I've done. I love sending people all over the place to those really obscure points, but I also love sending them to the, wonderful thing. There's a reason why people go to Paris. It's amazing.
Right.
You need to find a baguette. And, there's a reason why you go to Rome. It's an amazing place. So whether it's obscure or extremely popular, I think there's a way to experience it that is very intentional and brings joy not only to yourself, but to those you experience it with.
Hey, I want to sign up.
Yeah,
How do people
say just let me
Go.
know.
Ready. I'm ready.
how do people find you? How do people just Google you or
Actually, you can just go. So, I have a website. It's www.travelbyco.com. You can search
CO?
Travel
Oh,
by Chanel
Chanel
Owens.
Owens.
I'm
Okay.
on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. So you can search that way for me. And a lot of times through my website, you can fill out a little form thing that helps somebody know, hey, they want to talk to you, and I'll reach back out to you, and then we'll connect that way. Sometimes people will just direct message me, and then we kind of similar process, so I can get a good sense of their vision for what they're trying to do, and we can connect and kind of go from there. So they can reach out to me those couple of ways.
Yes. Well, lots of people, I'm sure, have travel plans to
Oh
go
yeah.
off somewhere, but for those who don't, there's so much to see here in the state
Yes.
or the surrounding states. And so,
I have some recs.
do you have some ideas?
I do. So, if you're in the Central Arkansas area, Garvin Gardens, the tulips are blooming. Highly
Yeah.
recommend.
Ah,
So, if
yes.
you
Oh,
are here in the central part of the state, that is a super fun place to go. And of
ah,
course, if you go, northwest, Eureka Springs at this time, you're again seeing a lot of those spring blooms. You've got the Blue Hole area there that's really pretty. In Bentonville, you've got the Art Museum, and they have a
yes.
wooded outdoor walking area that is gorgeous. So Arkansas is not short on amazing places to visit by any means. And of course, we here in Little Rock, we have the new Arkansas Museum of Fine Art, which is gorgeous, has a wonderful area to have a cup of coffee that's all glass. That's a great spot to go. And if you're somebody with kids, Pinnacle Mountain is always
Mm-hmm.
a hit for me and my kids. We actually don't live too far from here, so we love to go out there. But also, we have a Museum of Discovery, and you have the Amazium in Northwest Arkansas. Those two places are a great place to have fun and learn all at the same time, and I'm all about that. I think I have more fun than my kids do whenever we go.
Yeah.
Right. So much to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our
Eh,
state is full of amazing places.
It truly
Whether
is.
you want
Cool.
something, really quiet and tranquil or, invigorating and loud, you can find it.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you have a fun but also really rewarding job and that you just provide a very meaningful service for people. So, love hearing about that and all the great work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. And, as far as its, connection to wellness, wellness is not just something we practice at home. It's not just exercise videos and dietary plans and all these things. I think the most powerful experiences are happen when we step outside into the world and allow us to experience it intentionally. So that's how
Mm,
my travel connects to wellness is again hitting all those, 9 dimensions of wellness simultaneously,
mm,
and you can really only do that by just stepping out
mm.
and seeing.
Traveling with
That's really
purpose,
great.
being intentional. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Chanel, so much for sharing this with us. And Dr. Yu, great to see you as
Yes.
always. And we look forward to seeing everybody on our next episode of Arkansas Wellness Connections. Bye. Thank you, guys.
Thank
It
Take
you
was really
guys.
great.
wonderful
Wonderful.
day. Bye.
Thank you.
The Arkansas Wellness Network and the Wellness Connection are an initiative of reinventing ourselves, a 501c3 nonprofit promoting health, happiness, and hope.